And hello once more, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to episode 81 of the Druids Dozen. My name's John, I am the Rock Druid, and I'm a bit of a radio DJ. There's the Sunday Rock Show, BCFM Radio, 93.2 FM in the Bristol, UK area. Or there's the Astro Radio's Rock Druid Show, 3 times a week on astroradio.earth. And I'll put links to the shows down there, wherever the descriptions are. Different camera setup today because I'm in a bit of a rush. Very quick one today. Basically, I've got a lot on this weekend. I've got a gig alien stashing coming up. I've got builders arriving to do an inspection on some repairs that they're doing. So time's an element, and I've got radio shows to prepare. So I'm just going to throw out a quick look at some 7-inch picture disc singles. And I said this before, picture discs, they kind of started out with kind of novelty stuff back in, going back to the 1950s apparently, if not earlier. But 1970s, bands like Curved Air, Judas Priest were bringing out picture disc versions of their albums. And then come the 1980s, they became big promotional gimmicks. And the 7-inch picture disc is one of the more common formats you'll come across. Not quite as collectible, as rare and valuable as some of the 12-inch picture discs I showed you last week. And if you want to get into sort of like rarer record collecting, 7-inch picture disc is a good way to start. But anyway, these are some of the ones I've pulled out of my collection. I've got about 30 in total. I pulled out a dozen for you for today. And, we'll kick off with this one. Whip it out of this little house. This is It's Gonna Work Itself Out by Rose Tattoo from 1982, I believe. Anyway, there's the front. Flip him over. There's the back with a big close-up of Angry Anderson. Have a quick look here. Yeah, I think this is 1981 or 82, one of the two. Correct me if I'm wrong. You know where the comments are. Yeah, Rose Tattoo, of course. Classic Australian rockers. Definitely got that Aussie boogie around it. These were if AC/DC were the acceptable face of Aussie rock, these were definitely the bad boys. They had all the kind of skinhead imagery going. They were a lot harder edged than AC/DC ever were. But on the other hand, they also had a kind of far bluesier outlook, almost kind of like sleaze bluesy, slide guitar all over it. It's Gonna Work Itself Out was taken from their album Scarred for Life, which is I haven't heard a bad Rose Tattoo album, and the Scarred for Life one's pretty good. Fighting Sons, the B-side, which as far as I'm aware is a non-album track. I may be wrong, but overall, sweet little package from a great band. Not the most inspiring of picture discs, but music's great. And like I've said before when I've dealt with picture discs on these shows, picture discs can be played. You just got to be a bit more careful with them than normal. The vinyl's a bit softer and they're more prone to surface wear and damage. So, play your picture disc by all means, but go easy on it. Okay, one of the more more collectible ones, but also one of the more common ones you'll come across. Here we go. This is Motorhead Live, 7-inch from 1981. There's the front. That's what it looks like on the back. And basically, this is the live version of Motorhead, lifted from the Hammersmith album. It's probably the least seminal version of Motorhead overall. Of course, the song Motorhead was originally a Hawkwind B-side, What was the original Hawkwind single? No, I can't remember. It's off the War on Years of Time album. But anyway, yeah, it's you'll come across a lot of these. Collector's value wise, this one's worth about 10-15 quid. The Roadster 2 one there is worth about a fiver. There's only one of these is going to be worth more than about 10-15 quid, and I'll show you that when we get there. But anyway, interesting thing about this is that if the picture disc is a slightly different edit to the normal 7-inch single, which again's nicked from the Those Six Smith album, it's the way the track starts and finishes with the crowd noises. They're different. Why that is, I don't know, but it just is. But anyway, Motorhead live, 1981. Put this one back in the sleeve. Okay, next up, another power trio. Here we go, there's the front. I do like the artwork on this. There's the front, flips over lustily, and it is of course the Rods. Now the Rods, interesting band, formed by a guy called Dave the Rock Feinstein. He started out in a band called Elf along with a guy called Roddy James Dio and a few others, and Elf went on tour back in about 1970 whenever with Rainbow as a support band. And then that was the infamous tour which Richie Blackmore quit at the end of, and he wanted to put together, Richie Blackmore wanted to put together Rainbow, so basically he recruited Elf en masse, including Dio, just leaving poor old Dave the Rock Feinstein, because he didn't want two guitars in Rainbow. You know, Richie Blackmore can't work with anyone else like that, so basically Feinstein found himself on his own. Went back to Canada, formed the Rods, and after a couple of years in obscurity, they came through as a bit of a cult band in the 80s. Did a few, got a few of the Rods albums, and they're really quite good, to be honest with you. This is this track, this one here is their version of the old soul classic "You Keep Me Hanging On." I can't remember who did the original. I'm not really, don't dislike soul music, but I'm not really a, you know, I have enough trying to remember with the rock and the metal, let alone bringing in a completely separate genre into me brain. But anyway, soul classic. Janis Joplin did a version of it, and so did the Rods, and Vanilla Fudge as well. Yeah, it's all you know, great song, Holland and Dozier composition. The Rods version is as heavy as hell. It's a real kind of grind and bludgeon version. The B-side, Wings of Fire. Again, I think that one's off the Wild Dogs album. Great song as well. Making this a nice little 2-track package. Yeah, again, not hideously collectible. You can pick this up for under a tenner. Yeah, it's a nice thing to have. The Rods, You Keep Me Hanging On. Okay, this one is under a fiver, purely because in the UK, old Mr. Sammy Hagar here is not really a collectible act. Although this is a UK pressing, so no fault if you wanted to export it to the States, you could probably get a few more quid for it, where Mr. Hagar is a collectible act. But anyway, there's the front. This is Piece of My Heart, another song that Janis Joplin's got to relate. I think it was actually a Janis Joplin track originally. Big Brother and the Holding Company, I think. I may be wrong. Again, like I say, please correct me in the notes if I am. Anyway, there's the front. There's the back. B-side's a song called My Baby's on Fire, in which case you should get an extinguisher. And possibly get social services involved. But anyway, yeah, another cover version, another picture disc, and again a pretty sweet version. I do like Sammy Hagar. I've had a soft spot for him. He does a pretty good job of Piece of My Heart. Again, he leans on it, really drives the song home. And yeah, 1986, I think, 81 again, this one. So yeah, lots of 1981 picture discs today. That's just why I dragged him out the rack. So yeah, Sammy Hagar, Piece of My Heart. Put him back in his house. Ah, right, and this next one is one that you can pick up dirt cheap. These go for about £2 or £3 and no more. This is Through the Twilight by Girl. 1981, a track taken from their second album, which the title of which escapes me at the moment. But anyway, there's the front, there's the back, and this isn't very collectible purely because this single was only ever issued on picture disc. There was no picture sleeve, no normal black vinyl, just the picture disc issue of this. And consequently, although it wasn't a big hit, and it's still quite an obscure track, you know, there are loads of these out there, so they're not really worth a vast amount. If you don't know, Girl, featuring, where is he? That guy there, Phil Lewis. Later went on to find fame with LA Guns, but not before he did a couple of great albums with Torme, alongside Bernie Torme, and I can't identify which one he is. He's one of those blonde blokes at the black. Phil Cohen went on to the Def Leppard, but Girl, bit of a kind of sleazy glam, UK's kind of proto glam sleaze band. British heavy metal tied up stuff. Pretty good. Not their best cut by a long shot. And the B-side, which is a track called McKitty's Back, the non-album track, is probably the better of the two songs. But, like I said, not hugely collectible. These knock out, for, according to the Discogs, these go for about £2-3 tops. So, but again, they're nice things to have and an interesting item. Yeah, Through the Twilight by Girl. Okay, next up. Here we go. Saxon, Nightmare. 7-inch picture disc. There's the front. There's the back. B-siding with the Midas Touch. Both songs lifted from the rather excellent album Power and the Glory from 1983. Midas Touch is pretty good. Not all that struck on Nightmare. I've always thought that was one of the weaker tracks on the Power and the Glory album. But, who cares? It's Saxon. And I'd rather listen to Saxon than Kylie Minogue any day. Oh, that dates me, doesn't it? But anyway, I think against Kylie as a person, just I think her music sucks. But anyway, not a very inspiring image on the front. The rather iffy, badly drawn using felt tip pens, gauntlessly fist with a Saxon logo on, erupting out of seemingly nowhere and punching the sky. But this is what it is. And value of this one again, £5, £6-7 tops. Not hideously collectible, but an interesting item nonetheless. Okay, another one that's in the similar kind of value range, and another band from the same period. Actually, all these are from the same period. I selected them on purpose that way. Should be 80s. Here we go. Back Into My Life with The Writer by UFO. Actually, that's the front. Big picture of Phil Mogg juggling the mic stand. There's the back. Both tracks taken from the album The Mechanics. And yeah, Back Into My Life's a bit of a softer rocker for UFO there. Don't like using the term power ballad, but it's getting there. The Writer's a bit more of an epic cut, got a bit more of a serious song. But, you know, I find The Mechanics is one of UFO's weaker albums anyway. And, you know, there are two fairly typical tracks off it. Not really stuff that really rings my bell. Don't get me wrong, I do like UFO lots. But just the Mechanics albums, to me, it's not terrible, but it's one of their weaker moments. And, yeah, these are two typical cuts off it. But again, just an interesting item. And it's mine. It's nice. Yeah. UFO. Back Into My Life. 7-inch picture disc. Now, I was going to throw a curveball in this week because I have one of my guilty pleasure bands, believe it or not, it's actually Spandau Ballet, and I have a couple of Spandau Ballet picture discs. But I'm going to, come on, get in there. So I was putting up a fight, and I'm just chatting while I'm putting up a fight. But I think at some point I will do a Druids dozen on guilty pleasures, because some of the things I'll drag out may surprise you. But anyway, I digress, because I've got it back home. And I'll bring you this one out now. Snowy White, Peace on Earth. There's the front. There's the back. Now, Snowy White, great guitarist, highly underrated. Probably best known for two endeavours. One, he played on the last ever Thin Lizzy album, Thunder and Lightning. And actually, no, he didn't, did he? He played in the two before then, Chinatown and Renegade. Yeah, played with Thin Lizzy for a bit. And although musically he got on with Thin Lizzy, he was kind of left because he just didn't get on with them personally. Phil Lynott is on record as saying the problem with Snowy is he takes Mogadon as a stimulant. Yeah, apparently Lizzy were famous party animals. Oh, Snowy White here, a bit of a laid-back dude. But anyway, yeah, this is a Peace on Earth, which was the follow-up single to his one big hit in the UK, Bird of Paradise, which is a beautiful little piece of sort of blues rock. This was a follow-up. This was tipped to be UK #1 at Christmas back in 1984. Didn't even hit the top 40, which is a shame because it is a great song. And again, Broken Promises on the B-side, which is a bit of a blues rocker. Peace on Earth, again, bluesy kind of track. Talks about, it's a bit of a hippie number, really. Superb guitaring. Snowy White's got a great vocal on him as well. And, yeah, I'm not sure what to say, really. There's the front. Have a quick look at the back with Snowy. Snowy White's still going strong. Brought out a great album a couple of years ago. And, oh yeah, the other thing that he's probably famous for was being Dave Gilmour's understudy or sort of live backup player in Pink Floyd. Also played with Roger Waters on his solo stuff as well. So yeah, great guitarist, great pedigree. Does a lot of session work as well, but it's not one who's very high profile. Okay, next up, some new over British heavy metalish stuff. Here we go. This is Shout by Grand Prix. There's the front. There's the back. Both track, the A side, Shout, taken from the album Samurai, of which that is a mini reproduction of the cover. Some electric gold and glowing neon samurai about to do electric glowing neon samurai stuff. B side is a live version of their classic cut Keep On Believing, a song which I talked about on the when I did New Wave of British Heavy Metal singles about a month ago. And yeah, this version here is recorded live at the Reading Festival, 82, sorry. Part of the BBC Live at Reading session. But yeah, Grand Prix, kind of like you have a British Heavy Metal's equivalent to Uriah Heep. And the original vocalist, I think it's Rob McCauley, sings on this. Yeah, he's Rob McCauley, vocalist on this, but the previous vocalist, Bernie Shaw, is now Uriah Heep's vocalist, as is the keyboard player on this, Phil Lazen. So, yeah, they sound like Uriah Heep, and they've got a Uriah Heep connection. And I like Uriah Heep, so bite me. But anyway, yeah, Shout isn't their best track by a long shot, not even the best track on the Samurai album, which is the weakest of their three albums, but still better than a kick in the head. And yeah, an interesting one. Again, slightly more collectible, this one. This one goes for about 10, 15 quid. But yeah, but like I said, it's all affordable. I have got one 7-inch picture disc that's worth about 60 or 70, but I didn't drag that one out, so I'm saving that for another edition. That's After Dark's Called the Wild. But okay, now this one is a little bit more collectible. According to Discogs, this one can go up to 25 notes, and it's the most. This is the rarest, most expensive thing I'm showing you today. Again, but like I said, I didn't pay anything like the prices I bought all these at the shops on release, or even better, fished them out of deletion racks soon after release. But anyway, this is Megadeth's Mary Jane. There's the front, and I've forgotten the name of the skeleton monster that. Not Ed the Head, is it? I can't remember. But anyway, there's the front. Flip it around at the back, and this one's got a kind of card that it comes with. Yeah, 1988. Both tracks taken from the album, So Good, So Far, So Good, So What. Not a bad Megadeth album. I do like Megadeth, I've got to admit. Out of the big four thrashers, Megadeth are the ones that kind of I find most listenable. Not really a Metallica fan. Never really, Anthrax never really spoke to me. I could only really take Slayer in small doses, but Megadeth, I quite like. And yeah, I do know that Dave Mustaine's got a reputation of being a bit of a knob, but, you know, the music's still quite good. Yeah, Mary Jane. Can't remember the track that much because the track I put Hook in Mouth, the track on the B side of this is a bit of a corker. Mary Jane itself, if I remember right, it's okay. I haven't played this for ages and ages. I have to dig the album out and give it a spin. But yeah, but it's Megadeth and it's Picturesque and it's collectible, so that's what I'm showing it to you today. Yeah, Mary Jane, Megadeth. Good stuff. Now we've got two left. We'll have a bit of Morsey next. There we go. Gary Moore, After the War. There's the disc with old Gazza Moore with his guitar. Now, flip it over. Now, on the B side, you've got a thing called Love. If I remember rightly, hang on, I can check over here a second. Yep. So I've got some notes up on my computer I should be looking at. Yeah, both tracks taken from the album After the War, which was Gaz's last, in my opinion, last really good album. I've gone on this before, but I love Gary Moore with his kind of his stuff that he did with Lizzie. I love his blues. I love his kind of metally stuff. This is from a couple of albums that he did towards the end of the 1980s. This one particularly being 1989, where he was a bit Celtic rocky, you know, kind of going back to the kind of Thin Lizzy, you know, kind of Irish jiggy kind of stuff. Then he went all blues, and in my opinion, Gary Moore is a piss poor blues player. Yeah, technically he may be brilliant, but you know, to Atomic, you need a feel to play the blues properly. I mean, there's not a story, maybe apocryphal, but when he was doing the Still Got the Blues album, he was recording with Albert King, and they was in the studio setting up, and Gary Moore's got his amps on and he's shredding all over the place, and apparently Albert King just walked over to his gear, knocked off all his effects units and said, "Now play, boy." And yeah, but you know, Atomic shred guitar and the blues don't really work, and it's something that Gazza never really learnt. But anyway, I'm not knocking him because I say I love his metal and his folky stuff, so I can forgive him his blues folk past. Anyway, After the War, not the best Gary Moore album. Title track not being the best Gary Moore track, and the B-sides okay. But like I said, better than his bluesy stuff, and it's a nice little picture disc with a picture of Gazza on the front. 1989, that one. Don't know how collectible that one is. I haven't looked it up. I forgot that one. I was just about to start filming. I suddenly realised I'd only counted out 11 rather than 12. So dived into the rack and grabbed that. Okay, the last one. This is a band I've got 2 or 3 picture discs by. Come on, out you come. There we go. There's the front. Do you know what it is yet? To quote, yeah, there's the front. Flip it over. It is, of course, Budgie. Ah, it's Budgie. No, it's Budgie, Keeping the Rendezvous. 7-inch picture disc, lifted from the album Night Flight. Interestingly, Derek Riggs' artwork. Yeah, Derek Riggs did do other artwork other than Iron Maiden. Only a few, but he did a couple, including an album and a couple of single images for Budgie. Although, Derek, if you're ever watching this, mate, what's that? That is not a Budgie. It's an excerpt from the album cover, which is like a Aztec type ziggurat with a spaceship on top and a Budgie astronaut with a ray gun climbing down it. But you know, don't know what it is, but looks like some kind of mutated pigeon. But anyway, it's not a Budgie. But anyway, Keep the Rendezvous, great track from a great album. The more famous cut of that album, off the Night Flight album, is probably I Turned to Stone. But Keep the Rendezvous, a great little rock of a track. On the flip side, another Night Flight cut, a song called Apparatus, a nice little acoustic number, which is a kind of 2-minute infiller on the album, making for a sweet little package. And even though the kind of, it's not a Budgie, it's a mouthful, it's a mutant pigeon on the front, I do like the artwork. You know, both this little excerpt on here and the full version on the album. So, that's a very quick one today. Looking at some of my 12-inch, some of my 7-inch picture discs. Maybe not. There may not be a show next week because once more I've got to go shoot off doing some family business. It's going to take me out of town for about a week, and if I can get something filmed, I will. If not, I'll be back the week after next with another dozen. Don't know what it'll be yet. I've even had a toying with the idea of dragging out a load of old VHS tapes that I've got. So I've got some live sort of concert and promo VHSs. I'll have a look at them if you like. Let me know what you think. You know, anyway, there's the comments down there, and it will be over there. Or is it over there? One of the two, finger dance. Anyway, so until I come back either next week or the week after, I love you all. Keep record collecting, and I'm out of here. Bye. Oh, I did that gag last week, didn't I? And besides, it don't work on Facebook. Oh, bollocks.